All right, people, welcome back to a live. I don't do many of these because usually it ends up in failure. But I do appreciate the people that are here right now. Today, I feel like I'm more confident on my abilities, and just want to send out this message. G Money is very, appreciative of all the support. Even brought Abe Lincoln to the party, and I'm going to bring somebody else into the party. Matter of fact, I'll bring him up right now if I know how to do this. I might need, add to.
There you are.
There he is. So, are we echoing or anything? Are we good to go with the sound and everything? Or
Right now, it's sounding good to me.
all right, very good. All right, it sounds like a drum roll in the background to me. Like there's a
Does it?
steady. Yeah, it sounds like. But
Hang
anyway,
on. Go ahead and talk, Gary. I'll try and fix that.
that's all right. No problem, brother. So anyway, I just want to get like, it's there. You go. I don't know if you muted you muted yourself. So that's why it sounds better. All right. So anyway, what I wanted to tell the people that are popping in today, I'm going to kill a little time. So a lot of channels, they do like a 3-minute intro where they tease you with all this animation and stuff like that. I, I'm not one of those guys because I don't know how to do that, right? And JJ does a real fancy intro, road to 5 million and all that stuff. I I I I don't, I'm on the road to like, please give me 600, please, Lord, just give me 600. So I don't do all those fancy intros, because I'm technologically challenged. But I will tell you, I'm going to do a couple quick shout outs before we get to the beef of the topic, and that's how I'm going to kill that time. Um, uh, Trust me, I'm going to get to the topic. My mom has a new healthcare provider showed up today. It's a nurse. She is I think her title is she's a CNA and an HHA, whatever, and she is spending 5 hours here today, and she does everything from A to Z. She showered my mom. Just tremendous lady. Her name's Mary, and just I know it's coming through the healthcare or personal funds through the power of attorney, whatever it is, because he's away for 8 or 9 days, and this lady is a rock star. I'm so proud to be in her presence. It's just her ability to focus and vision and just they do everything. When I say A to Z, she's cleaning, she's showering, she's doing the sheets. It's just such a blessing because with my work schedule currently, that is very difficult. So I'm going to interject a little bit of G Money humor in there. Before I was getting ready to go live on the thing, and I'm looking down at the bottom of the screen. StreamYard has some different prompts, and it'll say mute, stop cam, settings, present, invite, leave studio, and off to the right it says having issues with a question mark. I had to laugh because I'm like, really? Do you have that much time? You want to talk about it, or you know, I've got issues. Yes, I've got issues. So anyway, that's me trying to break the ice with a little bit of humor. So one more thing before we get to the topic at hand, I always like to try and shout out a new channel that I've discovered that I really enjoy with high quality content, perhaps a low subscriber count, by some standards. And today's channel that I'm going to shout out is my W. It's let me try that again. G Money spell much. MY and then another word wild, and the last word would be a space and then home. HOLM. I'm assuming that's their last name. My Wild Home. I think they have approximately 765 subscribers. Excellent. When I watched their video today, I was like, it just blew. When I watch channels with excellent content and clarity, it blows my mind why they do not have more. But I like the structure of their channel. So let's get on to talking about the topic at hand. And today I went to my very first RV show. I've been to some RV centers, and before I get talking about that, Jason, at any point in time, if you want to, pop in and interject a comment or, cut me off or just express your feelings, feel free to do so. So this is basically my review of my first experience going to an RV show, and it was supposed to start at 0900. I get there at like 0900 or 0901 or whatever it was, and I'm panicking because I realized, oh my God, there's only 2 vehicles in the parking lot. So I was kind of worried. I'm thinking like, oh, please tell me I did not misunderstand the information. Maybe it starts at 10 o'clock on Sunday or something like. I'm thinking, all right, this is a misinterpretation on my part. But so, Jason, I'm going to be trying to tell the story. If you want to, view the comments or pop in
Yep.
and, respond to any comments, feel free to do so. So
Yep.
I'm pretty much just trying to get the story relayed as accurately as, possible. So I pull up there and a couple things I did previously prior to arriving there was I got one of those little new micro chip cards for my phone because I was almost out of memory. So I got one of those 128 gigabyte things, and I was out in the parking lot playing with that, inserting that. Hopefully, I could get that right. And then I had purchased a new smaller tripod through Walmart, which is ONN brand, which is I think their own brand. And so there's a reason why I did that, and I probably want to talk about that more in a later video. But I will tell you the one thing that was different on this tripod. When I had one before, it was like a spring-loaded deal that would hold your phone vertically and such. And this one was pretty much it had like a screw knob, and then you just tighten it. So I like that feature to a degree because it would tighten it up and very secure. The spring-loaded one was quick and convenient, but I always wondered, like, what if I drop it in the water or something like that? So I'll get back to talking about, I'll probably do a review on that new product soon. So I go to the Lee County Civic Center in Lee County, Florida, and I'm going to tell you the address. It's 11831 Bayshore Road, North Fort Myers, Florida, zip code 33917. And it literally is right on the border of Alva, Florida. So it is very kind of country, redneck out there, right behind, maybe like a street over back in the background. They do like a rodeo type environment. But let me get talking about the RVs because, I heard squirrel and I'm looking all around. So let me get back to the topic. So, one of my biggest dreams is to own an RV of some type. And when I say an RV, it could be a camper. And since I've hit on that topic, I'm going to ask the guest host here a question. And I think I know
Yes.
the answer, but I'm sure he's more qualified to answer the question. My question is to Jason Johnson, JJ Drones. What is the difference between an RV and a camper? Can you identify that? I think I know the answer, but I'll let you.
Now, there's so many different terms that are made that are used in the RV industry. There are campers. Most of the people just call them all RVs because RV is just a recreational vehicle. So it could be anything from a pop-up to a fifth wheel all the way up to a Class A motorhome. So it's just basically a difference in vernacular. There isn't really much of a difference. But most of the time, if someone's talking about a camper, it's more of like a pop-up. And if you're talking about an RV, you could be talking about a fifth wheel, you could be talking about a travel trailer, or you could be talking about a motorhome. But most of the time, if you say camper, you're more than likely talking about like a pop-up setup.
Okay, so this is what my previously, prior to your dialogue with you and such. So I thought a camper was anything that was like a pull behind, anything like
Right.
that. It could be a pop-up or anything like that. It would not be like a dome tent, obviously, or anything like that. And then I always thought RV, the term for that was be any type of vehicle that was motorized, like self-propelled type vehicle.
Right.
So I don't know.
No, I mean, I thought the same thing before I started going into looking at different RVs. Now, Haley and I have owned a pull behind travel trailer now for since 2018, and then I had one previous that I probably had for about 2 years before that. And both of the trailers that I've owned have been travel trailers. And when I was growing up, we used to camp in a camper. We had a pop-up camper that we fit 4 kids plus my mom and my dad in, and just very uncomfortable and was not a great fit for a large family. But we made it work, and people do make those vehicles work. But I am more along the line of thinking that the travel trailers are probably a better fit for families. And then depending on where your spending level is, then you can get up into like a fifth wheel or something like that. But then, like you had mentioned in your video earlier, I don't know if it's released yet, but you're going to have to do the expense of the tow vehicle as well. So whenever you go out and you're trying to find an RV, always keep in mind that no matter what RV you get, it's got to match the vehicle that you have to tow it. So there are limitations there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I truly do. And yeah, that was I actually jumped the cycle a little bit and downloaded that one video. I think the second fifth wheel video you're going to appreciate a little bit better. Personally, I did, and I just haven't gotten there today because the chaos around me. But my goal was to I did 7 videos today at that venue, which was the RV show there. It was sponsored by La Mesa RV Center, right? So to answer, I had a friend ask me recently, like, is your buddy from the camping world going to be there? And I replied, I said, I don't know, I don't think so. And then it dawned on me later after I ended the dialogue with that person that I realized, like, this is sponsored by their competitor. So it was like a brain fart on my part. So basically all the types of vehicles that were represented today, this morning, and today was the last day of the RV show, or camping show, what have you, were all of brands that they represent. I guess you could say, politically correct. And so what I'm going to tell you about that, for people that I'm going to shout out their link. It's www.rvshowusa.com, and they do different RV shows across different parts of the country. I don't know exactly all those locations. I didn't look at it that in depth. I just basically I know that when I was watching some of my YouTube videos recently, that kept popping up as a sponsored ad prior to the videos, and that's how I knew about this venue occurring there. And I felt like, I think somebody has a question. Please go, sir. Please, if you have a question, feel free to speak.
It's not really a question. I just want to go and speak to the comment from Full Blown Country. He says the tow capacity is important for the vehicle and the size of RV you choose. And that is probably the most important thing that you're going to have to look at as far as pulling an RV is the gross vehicle weight rating of your vehicle, because you need to match that up with whatever you're going to pull. Now, you're going to look at the dry weight of the unit, and you're going to look at the gross vehicle weight rating of the unit itself, and then you're going to try and figure out what the hitch weight is of that particular vehicle. Now, if you have a gross vehicle weight rating on your vehicle and a payload capacity that isn't going to match that RV, you don't want to pull that, because that's what causes a whole lot of accidents on the interstate. And let me tell you, I see them a lot. So just be mindful that just because an RV dealer says that you can pull that vehicle doesn't necessarily mean you can pull it. They're there for the sale, but you have to be there for your own safety.
I appreciate your interjection there. As you're talking there, it kind of gave me like an idea to throw to you as a challenge. pretty soon you're going to be going on a long journey trip, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, and you have a pull behind camper type
Yes.
setup. All right. So,
Yes.
my request to you for the viewers that are watching now, and for all your viewers, and just for everybody, in YouTube world, is I know when you're driving your big rig, you do like a pre-trip inspection for your
Yes.
big rig, and I'm challenging you to do the same for your pull behind camper. I'm sure you probably do that already because it's ingrained in your mentality, but I'm challenging you to make a video out of that. Uh, from Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors, or you don't have to at me or anything like that. But I think I hear people say you have to cross the chains and for safety reasons and stuff like that. So whatever you can do as a pre-trip inspection on how to haul your pull behind camper, whatever you want to call it, RV. I'm challenging you to do a video like that. I know you've got a lot on your plate and you're excited for your journey, but let me throw one more thing on your plate. You have a big plate.
Well,
You have a big appetite and a big plate, so we're making
I do have a big appetite, and let me tell you, I did plan on tomorrow going out and filming a video with the truck and the trailer, but I think that's a great idea as far as showing the pre-trip, showing the gross vehicle weight rating of the truck, showing the empty weight on the trailer, and showing how I go about getting the trailer ready for travel, because it's not just hooking up and going. You check the tires, make sure that they're aired up properly. You check the lug nuts, make sure that they're torqued properly.
I
everything.
always check my nuts before every trip. But yeah, I appreciate that. Go ahead, please carry on. Nuts are very important in life.
Yeah, especially me. But anyways. You have to make sure that everything inside the trailer isn't going to be falling out everywhere, so it has to be stored away properly. There's so many things that you go through before you even start heading down the road, and it's just like in a tractor trailer situation. You want to make sure that everything is safe, so that when you get done with your trip, that everything is in one piece and everybody walks away safely. So yeah, I will definitely do that. I appreciate the challenge, and I will take you up on that, sir.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. I don't know how much you know about this. You probably know more than I, because you're on the road all the time. So, and you're way smarter than me. So I acknowledge and I bow to you, sir, because you are the sensei. So anyway, but I always hear people make comments on. I follow a lot of like RV, camping, outdoors, and travel, stuff like that, channels. And I always hear people refer to a term. I hope I can say this without repercussion, but they talk about tires from China, followed
Yes.
by a four-letter word. I think I mentioned
Yes.
it. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. So I'm going to try and pretend like I'm going to skirt by it. But anyway, so what can you kind of try and if you have the knowledge, can you try and define what a China bad tire might be like? Is it something that comes cheap when you purchase it from a new dealer, or is there certain brands? Do you have any knowledge on that? So if there's people here trying to get into the RV and camping community world, something you could give them a tip on that I may not know. I know there's a precautionary thing out there. I just don't know what it is.
Okay, so first of all, let me just help you out, Gary, by saying Chinese tires are crap. Okay,
All right,
thank you.
All right. I love
Thank
their
you.
food. I love their food though.
They
egg
are.
rolls, egg rolls and wonton soup. Man, it's the best.
General Tso's chicken, just sign me up. Yep, give me all the General Tso's chicken. I'll take it all. But don't give me your tires, because they're made horribly. There's so many blowouts on the side of the road, and a lot of them are the cheap tires. And the RV manufacturers, not too many people know this, And I'm going to actually warn all of you ahead of time. When you buy an RV, they're not held to the same standards as anything else, okay? The building standards are lackluster compared to all the rest of the industries. And if you buy an RV, there is no lemon law protection. So if you buy an RV, and you get a lemon, you have no protection. You can bring it back to the dealership over and over and over again, try and get them to fix it through the manufacturer, but you have no lemon law protection unless you live in the state of Louisiana. If you live in the state of Louisiana, you have protection, but every other state in the country you do not.
That's crazy. I never knew. I sorry to cut you off. I never knew. That never even crossed my mind. I mean, like, that's a great point that you're making there, and like, that's going to help a lot of the viewers. Like, maybe not the current viewers or the, perhaps the future viewers, but maybe that's a video you do on your own, and you have more followers than I do. I want that word to get out. So there's another thing on your big ass plate. Here, put it on the plate. Talk about it, and because when JJ Jones Drones talks, people listen. I said
there's a channel out there. His name is Steve Lato. He's a lawyer out in here in Michigan, and he has a video out there called "Do Not Buy an RV." And the reason he goes through all of the reasons on why you shouldn't purchase an RV, and one of them is just the fact that you don't have any lemon law protection on buying an RV. Now, when it comes to the build quality for 2000, 2001, in that general area, or not the 2000, 2001, but 2020 and 2021, they were trying to push out as many RVs as they possibly could because there were so many people buying them. They were having record sales, but they couldn't keep up with the demand. So there were a lot of things that fell by the wayside as far as quality went. And it showed. There were, I mean, you can go through, you can do a very simple Google search of RVs 2020, 2021, and water damage, and you will see so many different RVs that went through the build process and they weren't sealed properly. There were different parts of the RV that were left out because they weren't able to have the products to install in the RVs. So that was another problem that they ran into, just a shortage of different products that they could have in the RVs. And so there were a lot of problems that came with the RVs that came out in 2020 and 2021. The biggest thing is that the RV industry is trying to make up for that now with getting better quality, because they actually have time to actually go out there and build the RVs. So if you're looking at buying an RV, I very much suggest to people stay away from 2020, stay away from 2021. 2022 may be better, but 2023s are going to be even better. And if you do get an RV, there's a company out there, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, I apologize for not knowing it right now, but they will actually go out there and do an inspection of the RV that you plan on purchasing. And if the RV dealership does not allow the person to come on the lot to do the vehicle inspection, don't buy the RV from them, because any reputable dealership is going to let that person come in and do the inspection on the RV. And I know that I went completely away from the tires, but Gary, do you have anything to add on that?
No, I think that's tremendous, and it's kind of like I do want to eventually get to the my review of the RV show, but since this is excellent content, it's giving me more questions to ask you, because you're kind of like a veteran in this field. So I'm going to ask you about what I'm enamored with one very popular RV camping facility based on their CEO, because he had a popular TV show that I really loved and appreciated. A lot of people don't have the same feelings as me, but I've heard that their extended warranty, or I forget what they. I'm trying not to mention any names, but their warranty and service program is not up to snuff to some other ones. So if I guess I'm going to ask you in a polite, roundabout way. If you know this answer, if you could please tell the viewers, if you had to pick the top three, extended warranty programs or whatever you want to call it, who would you pick?
None.
All right.
None of them are there. None of them are written are worth the paper they're written on. You're actually better off taking the money that you would put into an extended service contract and actually saving it for yourself. Put that money aside, put it into a separate savings account that you just never touch. And if anything goes wrong with the RV, there are hundreds of thousands of DIY fix videos on the internet, on YouTube, and a lot of that stuff that you can actually do on your own, like going on the roof. And Gary, you mentioned in one of your videos, you weren't sure what the ladder was for. Well, that ladder is for going on and actually walking your roof and to verify that all the seals are still intact. And then some of the trailers have like a coating over the top of it, a rubberized type coating, and that fades after so many years. So you want to go out there and you can get a bucket of it. It's just like painting the roof of your RV, and you just go up there and you put it on, and you're able to. It's like a rubber membrane, so you're able to put that on the trailer. But stuff like your refrigerator, your stove, your TV. People, here's another thing people don't know. Okay, if you go out there, you buy an RV. Every one of those RVs comes with a different manual for every different piece of equipment inside that RV. Okay, and so every single one of those items, like let's say your stove, your refrigerator, the heat, the furnace, the water heater, the TV, the radio. All of those things that are in there, they all have their own manual, and you have to register each one of those things individually so that the warranty is accepted by those providers. Now, if you don't do that, the manufacturers of those certain products, if they fail within that first year, they can completely disavow any knowledge that you even bought that product.
I'm going to do one thing real quick, and you're doing such a good job talking, eloquently. So I appreciate that. I'm going to stop my camera. Hopefully, I'm not going to leave the studio this time. I'm going to stop the camera, and then I'm going to hit mute, and then I'm going to let you carry on. I need to check with the exit of what's going on here. I'll be right back. I didn't mean for this to happen, but
no, it's not a problem. So, Full Blown Country says the roof membrane is one of the most important inspections you should make yearly. And yes, that is the number one thing that you want to do yearly. Number two, yearly, if you live in the colder climates, you want to go out there and you want to winterize your vehicle. Now, whether that be through the dealership or you do it yourself, it doesn't really matter, but make sure that you get that antifreeze in all the lines in your RV, because you don't want to be going out there the next spring and hooking up to your RV and having blown water lines. So it's very important. Just doing our best says, I am learning a lot. Thank you. No, I'm glad that you're here. And I'm glad that Gary asked me to come on to talk about this, because Haley and I are actually looking at upgrading our pull behind to a fifth wheel, and we have our eye on a couple. So I've been doing a lot of research in RVs, and I've actually been in the RV groups on Facebook for quite a long time. So Chris from Shade Tree America says, I avoid tires from China, stick to major name brands. That's why and then he was probably talking about the 2020 and 2021 when he says that's why you buy old RVs. You can do what you want to them, and they're cheap. But as far as the Chinese tires, a lot of the RV manufacturers are actually. Oh, there's Gary. So Gary, as far as the Chinese tires go, a lot of the RV manufacturers are actually steering away from the Chinese tires, and they're actually going towards Goodyear endurance radials. And they're rated for the weights that you're hauling, and they're also rated at 75 miles an hour. Now, you're going to run into people that are pulling their RVs doing 80 miles an hour down the interstate. Your tires are not rated for that. But Chinese tires, their sidewalls are weak, The tread isn't. It's like buying a retread for a semi. They're not as durable as a American made name brand tire. So you're basically some of the RV groups call the Chinese tires China bombs. Take it as you will, because they can.
I think I said that in one of my videos. I don't know if it was the first one or one of the subsequent ones coming up, but I did use that term today, and I wasn't sure if I was allowed to use that four-letter word. That's what I'm saying. I think we're going to be okay, but I'm not worried.
We'll be all right. No, we'll be all right. So, but with anything, when you're towing, it doesn't matter whether you're towing, whether it's a vehicle, whatever. Check your tire pressure regularly. Every time you do a trip, make sure that your tire pressures are good. Most of the newer trailers will actually come with the TPMS into the trailer, so that you can actually monitor the tire pressures as you're going down your trip. My truck that I just bought comes with tire pressure monitoring system for my RV. So the only thing I would have to do is go and have those installed in the rims of my RV, and I'd be good. There's actually valve stem caps that you can buy for your RV tires that will be green if they're good, and they'll be red if you need to add air. There's so many different ways that you can make sure that your tires are inflated. I do it the old-fashioned way. I put a tire pressure gauge to it and make sure that the tire pressures are good.
Pre-trip inspection type deal, right?
Yeah, right. Now, if you don't, if you just go by the seat of your pants and you don't check your tire pressures, you don't know what you have back there. And the worst thing that you can do is go down the road with an underinflated tire. And Gary, I'm sure you're aware of this, but as you go down the road with an underinflated tire, that air pressure starts building up as the heat builds up in the tire, and it builds and it builds and builds until that tire finally blows. Now, when you have a blowout on an RV, it's not like you're going to have a blowout in your pickup or your car or a semi-trailer. That blowout can take out the entire part of the flooring underneath that. It can tear away the side of the trailer. I mean, it could total a trailer very easily. And as you said, it could fishtail and could flip your vehicle upside down. Or there's so many dangers of a blowout with a travel trailer. So just be very cautious when you're towing a trailer and making sure that your tires are good, because that is the number one cause of incidents on the highway, is people just not paying attention to their tires.
I appreciate your input. That's awesome. To me, that's so valuable, because I didn't really plan to segue into this, but it literally was a blessing. And it's kind of like, it's not for me, it's for the viewers, today's viewers, and future viewers. So I think that's super valuable. So I'm going to, I do see some of the comments. I've not really read any. I know I'm going to try and acknowledge some of the ones I see here without scrolling up or down, but just doing our best. I see Full Blown Country, and I'm sure there's other people in here. Just showing 6 people viewing. I know Shade Tree America was in here. I'm sure he's still in here. But
yep.
Anyway, so I'm going to talk about going to my first RV show. So I had high expectations, but unknown expectations, if that makes sense. So I arrive, and I go into the Lee County Civic Center, and there's a bunch of campers and RVs, whatever term you want to use, on the exterior. I walk inside, and I'm literally the first person there. I thought people would have been lined up for this event, or there would be workers galore and stuff like that. So I kind of I start to do a walk around, a scout out mission type thing. And I realized there's nobody in there, no workers, no, G-Money's I'm early to work again. I'm thinking man, does this really start at 9 or whatever? So I'm looking around, and I see all these. I will say this is one positive comment. I'm not saying one. There's several positives, and then I'm going to tell you about the negatives. their selection out there was tremendous. There was all different price points. There was like conversion vans that were like little campers that were like $120,000. It was crazy. All different price points, and one of the best the one of the videos I wanted to do the most that I really enjoyed seeing was big diesel. It was like one of these motorhomes, like buses, like rock stars would have, and travel on the road, and it was just phenomenal. It was just so I go in there. I'm doing a video of the outside. That's looking great, starting great. I go inside, and there's music playing in the background from the entire length of this motorhome that is like rock music. And I know I'm like, oh crap, it just like it threw me off my game. So I'm now kind of like rushing through, trying to. I wasn't sure what area the sound was coming from. Then I moved to the back. I realized it was louder back there, and then I realized at that point, like this video is probably going to have to be a scrap, and it ticked me off because it was a $250,000 motorhome that was
Right.
just beautiful. It was just like luxury on wheels. So I started, I messaged you earlier, and I was trying to do one RV video a day for 7 days. That's going to be a scrap. So I started thinking today, how can I recover and recoup? And what I may do is go out there tomorrow or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday might be a better day because they're probably spending the whole day on Monday relocating all those campers, RVs, and such back to their headquarters. So I'm going to see if they'll grant me permission to do another video there, and kind of politely ask them not to have the music going, and maybe I can have a representative of their agency describe all the good features that I really don't know about. So that's a good segue into one of my gripes about this RV show. There was, I would say, maybe like a half a dozen salespeople, representatives of that RV show outside. And when I was inside, nobody was inside. Nobody, zero, nothing, nada. And that kind of like disappointed me. I realized like I'm trying to think of the positives and negatives of my situation. So I'm thinking, all right, G Money, you're the first person. They realize I'm probably just filming because I have my little tripod in the phone. So I'm thinking they're probably just out there like to do meet and greet and then hopefully talk to people and then maybe like lead them to something they may have interest of previously. I'm going in there cold. So I'm trying to weigh both options of this, right? So I'm walking around for probably a good hour, no salespeople in there, and nobody. So I really wanted to include them in a nice positive video so they could tell me the features of different campers and RVs that they're there to promote, and that never occurred. So I was there kind of winging it. So my other little bit of a gripe, and I don't know how this is supposed to work, but common sense would tell me, you would go into, I don't know, like if you're going to buy a house, it's a new build in a house, there's going to be like a literature pamphlet telling you, the size and the square feet and how many bathrooms and stuff like that. There was zero literature for any of the vehicles in there, the campers in there. So that would have been really helpful, because if I was in the market, which I am in the market in the future, hold on, my screen just kind of went, I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't shut off as on it. But like there was no literature for any of the products shown there. That was disappointing to me, because I would really love to say, this is the Winnebago Mini, it's 23 feet long or whatever it is, and have the specs, so I can do my homework on the different, I can have maybe 3 different brochures. If I'm torn between 20,000 and 30,000, what could be my best bang for the buck? But if I have it all written down on a pamphlet or a brochure, I think that could be very helpful. What say you, Jason?
Now, I don't know why they didn't come in, but the one thing that I could probably put up there, and it's not really an excuse as much as it is just trying to figure out why they wouldn't have salesmen on the floor, is the fact that they don't want to feel like they're pressuring people into buying. So, kind of like a no pressure kind of a deal where you go up to them if you have any questions or whatever, if you're interested in. I mean, that's the only thing that I could come up with for a reasoning for that. But as far as there not being any sort of information, any literature on the RV, normally when you go to an RV show, they usually have in the dinette area of each RV, they'll have like a big poster board with all of the features and everything listed for that certain RV. And every once in a while they'll have a pamphlet or whatever if the RV representative from that manufacturer shows up and brings little brochures with. Otherwise they don't have the brochures, but normally there's a big poster sitting on the dinette. But if you didn't have any of that, that was kind of ridiculous. And then the other gripe that I would have is probably the fact that not all the RVs were plugged in, because if they're not plugged in, you can't really see the lighting, and a lot of the focus that the RV manufacturers made in the especially the bigger fifth wheels is all the accent lighting. So that's one of the big sales points of the RVs. So if I'm a salesperson, I want that RV plugged in. I want all the lights on. I want those awnings put out so you can see how far that they can go out. I want to open up all the baggage doors so that you can see what the pass-through storage looks like, because not all pass-through storages are the same. And the bigger the better for a lot of people. If there's a outdoor kitchen, I want to be able to display that. All the features of the RV, I want to be able to open it up and show the customer. But from what I saw, you didn't really have that experience.
Well, no, I did not. And I talked to someone recently about some of those topics that you kind of hit on. And I was outside. It's hotter than hell down here lately. But so even though it was early in the morning, I'm trying to do a walk around and just praying somebody like a salesperson would come up to me and answer some of those questions that was asked to me, like an outdoor kitchen and stuff like that. I'm sure a couple of those fifth wheels probably had that, and anybody who's going to see any future content, with me talking about like when I'm demonstrating, I'm like the outside of my videos are I would say okay. I'm very unknowledgeable in terminology. When I think I almost wanted to slap myself when I heard him talk about an in and out line, and I know that's gray water in a different water lines. I was so pissed at myself when I realized, but I'm not 100% knowledgeable on the terminology. So, but like yes, so like what Jason is saying is excellent points, but without a salesperson to approach you, like they obviously knew I was filming.
Right.
So not one person came over and said, hey, do you have any questions? Can I help you? Like, it's not like you have to, I understand. I don't like being a consumer and people badgering you, but I saw one guy when I was outside kind of coming towards me, and he's the one that told me where the fifth wheels were, and then I saw him go around the back of the building. I thought he was coming to approach me, and I was like, this is great, because now I can ask him some questions. Not one salesperson ever approached me, and that probably sounds negative, right? And I was disappointed because I had high expectations for what I wanted to do in the videos to present the best product available, and perhaps some of their information might have led me to make a purchase in the future. I kind of left there with a bitter taste in my mouth. But like I said, I had higher expectations. Like, I think if you go to like Bass Pro or something like that, and you're looking at the boats, they have these little literature racks, a product, information on each product. Every boat there at Bass Pro tells you the size, the specs, the cost, the width, and all that stuff. So they had none of that on any of their products. So I felt like it was like a low level production. And as far as marketing, the only way I found out about it is just by watching YouTube videos. It was just like an ad that popped up, I guess, based on my proximity, and that was the only, like, I didn't hear any other promotion on this. So that's that's my honest assessment of my first RV show. I once again I want to reiterate, I think their selection was phenomenal. They had so many different price points, so many different types of things, and I've only touched on a couple because I just didn't have that kind of time because I knew we had a new in-home nurse coming today for the first day, so I kind of rushed it. I don't like rushing things in my life because then it I don't have the ability to spend all day in editing, and so I did rush. With the production I did today on 7 different videos, it may only be 6 if I can recapture the one big motor home coach. I would love to do that, and so I'm in 100% sincerity, I am gonna add. I think I may have already added that RV center, and if for some reason they get feedback and they don't like what I have to say, then they may not allow me to do a follow-up. But I feel like I would probably have better success if I went directly to their facility and said, hey, hey, can you come over here and talk with me? This is what I want to do. Can we do this? Yes or no? I just assume since it's an RV show, they're eager to sell, but nobody was eager to talk to me and inform me on any of the products. So that's my interpretation of my first RV show. Would I go to another one? Oh hell yeah! When my life gets better, like I did not have like a nice GoPro to do it very professionally. Everything I do in my life, it's by the seat of my pants. But I had very high expectations. I felt happy to one degree that I accomplished as much as I did. I know the quality is not as high as I had hoped for, and I was disappointed because I wanted these salespeople to pretty much sell their product and just let me document it. It didn't happen that way. So it's pretty much just like a visual showing. It's not really informative as much as I would have liked to. So does anybody have any questions for myself or JJ? Or JJ, do you have any comments or?
Well, I do have a couple of comments. Number one, if you're not aware, Full Blown Country said the 12-volt refrigerators are nice too. Now, there's only going to be 2 options really that you're going to find now in refrigerators. There used to be a 12-volt refrigerator. There used to be a gas electric combo refrigerator, and you could also get just a regular residential refrigerator. Now, the problem with the residential refrigerators is that if they break down and they need to be replaced, the only way that they can take those refrigerators out is by removing the slide completely and then taking that fridge out. Now, the problem with the residential refrigerators is they're not made to be bouncing down the road. Every time that you pull an RV, it's like that RV is going through an earthquake or a tornado or something similar of that nature, and going through that kind of stress on a residential refrigerator is not good for it. So I think Samsung has actually beefed up their builds on some of those refrigerators so that they're not as bad, but the earlier versions of the refrigerators that were going into the RVs were not that great. But the company that used to make the gas electric style refrigerator, Dometic, they completely stopped. I think it's Dometic. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. But
I mentioned that in one of the videos I did today. I don't think it was in the first one, but it's going to be upcoming this week.
Okay, so but the gas electric was made by Dometic, and they basically decided, we're done making gas electric refrigerators in the U.S. So they're gone, and then all that was left is 12-volt refrigerators or the residential refrigerators. Now, doesn't mean that there's not going to be some put into models that are just sitting around left over, but pretty much that's going by the wayside. Now, with the solar options that they have, you're not going to get much as far as like power, unless you really amp up your wattage or your voltage that you're gonna get from the solar. And pretty much all of the solar packages out there, you aren't going to be able to run the AC. So that's where you get a generator and you power the RV with the generator if you're going to be out what they call boondocking, or just out in the middle of nowhere with no hookups. But let me just preface and end my little spiel here by saying, don't go into buying an RV emotionally. Go into buying your RV logically. Go in, know what you want to have in your RV. Don't settle, because the RV dealership is going to say, well, you can go and do this, or you can do that, or you can, you can go ahead and don't get this stuff in this one. Buy this one now, and then 3 to 4 years later down the road, you can just trade this in and get a better one. I fell into that trap. We're now trying to find our second RV, our second RV the second time. Try and get your second RV the first time. Go in there with all of your expectations, all of the things that you want in an RV, and get them all. And make sure that what you're buying is a high quality product. Yes, Mr. G Money.
Please refer to me as the RV specialist for the rest of this broadcast.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, when I did my first research, and I went to Camping World, and I was outside on the lot, and they were talking to me about different structures, different price points of some of the. And I never really knew this, to be honest with you. I didn't realize some of those pull-behind campers are literally just wooden frames. I just assumed they were like some type of aluminum structure, and they fasten. But no, some of them are just strictly wooden, which tells me that there's potential for rot and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, like, for a novice, those might be like, the price point might be right, but the long-term investment might be wrong.
Right.
Do you have any feelings on that, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, buying an RV is a horrible long-term investment. Don't ever buy an RV thinking that you're going to have a good long-term investment, because once you leave,
investment for your happiness, not
right?
I mean, for happiness. I don't, I want, when I say investment, like, I'm going to go out and see Smokey the Bear, and the raccoons are in my trash, and the snakes biting me at the ankles. Those type of investments is what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. Full Blown Country says, buy one and you're going to have for years, and plan on taking care of it so it lasts. And that's the one thing that we were talking about when you were gone, is just a preventive maintenance, making sure that you're up on all the preventive maintenance on the vehicles, because you have to continue to keep up on that stuff, because eventually something in there is going to break, right? But the one thing that you can try to do to prevent it from breaking is by doing the maintenance that you need to do in order to prevent that from happening. So make sure you're always doing that. Now, when you buy an RV, they're going to bring you in and they're going to run your credit and whatever. And usually for the first time that you buy an RV, it's exciting for you. You just want to get all the paperwork signed and everything and go out the door. Well, basically they're going to give you a 10-year loan on it. So usually if you get like that Winnebago that you were showing earlier, you probably get that for about $250 a month, because you're going to spread it over 10 years. But with the interest rates now, it'd probably be a little bit higher, because if you got, a so credit score, they're probably going to get you around 10 to 12% interest rate on the financing. Anything better than that, I mean, the best that you're going to get is probably like a 7.5% financing on it, but they're going to spread it out over around 10 years. So the payments on these are going to only be, right around $250 to $300 a month, depending on the price tag of the RV. But plan on putting about 20% down, so that you have that as kind of a cushion to bring that price down. But don't go for any of the extras. Don't go for the the paint protection. Don't go for the furniture protection. Don't go for the extended warranty. Don't go for the warranty on the tires and all that. It's all garbage. And if you get one with the China bombs on it, take it down to your nearest tire dealer and put some Goodyears on it, because Goodyears are going to be the best thing you're going to have for your vehicle. That money that you could be spending on all those extras that the dealership makes a ton of money on, you could be putting into stuff that's going to actually enhance the improvement or enhance the abilities of your trailer going down the road. Make sure that you have covers for your tires for when you park it. Not necessarily when you're parking in the lot, but when you park it for the rest of the season, if it's going to be in the sun or if it's going to be in the weather. That way your tires are protected from the weather and from the sun, and it just increases the life of those tires. And then wash your trailer every once in a while. Find a place that you can actually go out there and wash it, because all those bugs and stuff are going to, bake into it, and it's going to ruin the paint on your trailer. Yes, Mr. RV Specialist.
Thank you. I appreciate you acknowledging my new title. So my question to you, because in specialist school I was out sick this particular day, can you explain to us about like waste removal and dumping stations, how that whole process works? I mean, we all know the movie Vacation, where what's his cousin Charlie was out there just dumping down on the street curb or whatever it was. What was his name? Do you remember who I'm talking about? Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Cousin Eddie. Yeah, he's out there in his robe and just pouring poop down the drain. Like,
right.
What's the proper way, and how is that? I've never witnessed that process, even though, I'm a specialist, but like I said, I was sick that day, so I missed that.
Well, the number one thing is make sure you get yourself a good stinky slinky. Or other, that's a technical term. You would know what that is. No, it's a hose that attaches to your outlet for your white or your black tank and your gray water tank.
Snake?
Yeah, stinky slinky.
Stinky slinky.
Technical term, but you would know that.
Yeah, stinky slinky. I think I've seen that in the users manual.
Yes. So and also make sure that you get there's a liquid that we use. It's basically an organism that lives in this liquid, and you pour it in your black tank every time after you dump it, and it'll actually eat away at anything that may be on the sensors. Yes, sir.
Tell people what a black tank is, please. We're here to inform people, educate people.
Okay, so your black tank is the bad stuff. That is the stuff that comes out of the toilet. That is the feces and the doo-doo and the pee-pee.
What's a gray tank, sir?
Gray tank, that's going to be your bathtub, that's going to be your bathroom sink, that's going to be your kitchen sink, that's going to be anything. And then if you have a washer and dryer, that's going to go into your black tank. That's all those things combined. And that's the one that fills up the fastest.
Did we go from black tank to gray tank, or gray tank to black tank, or what, how many tanks do we have on this grid?
Okay, so you're going to have most RVs are going to have 2. Mine has 3. So you're going to have 1 black tank and then either 1 or 2 gray water tanks. So depending on the RV that you have, depends on that. And now when you go and some RV parks actually have a way for you to connect to a sewer line right there at your site. So you just hook up your stinky slinky to the port that's on underneath your trailer, and hook it up to the sewer line that's at your parking spot, and then all that stuff just rolls right out of the trailer and into the sewer. That's one option.
I honestly, I know your plate's getting bigger. I'd love to see that process one day. Like, at least demonstrated, like, this is what you do, why you do it. I've never seen a video like that. I've watched a lot of those type of RV videos. Nobody's ever physically, that I've seen, demonstrated this is what the process is. So if you ever get ambitious, you know.
Well, Robin Williams did a really good documentary on how to do that. I think it was called the documentary was called RV.
Really?
You should look up that documentary. It's really good. Robin Williams documentary. Yeah.
Is that sounds like, I know he was a comedian, so I have a feeling I'm being baited into something. All right.
It's a really good movie. Really good movie. But basically, when you go out and there's actual dump stations, and they have these now at some of the Flying J's around the country. Some of the Loves truck stops around the country are getting dump stations in them. But basically, all you do is you pull up next to it, and you put your slinky on the trailer. You put the other end into the dump station, and then you pull the lever and you let it go. And if you have the black tank and the gray tank on the same side of the RV, because on my RV I've got one separate gray tank, and then I've got one that has the gray tank and the black tank. So what you do is you dump the black tank first, and then you pull the lever for the gray tank, and it'll kind of help flush all the rest of the product, the poopy and the body, out of the pipes.
So that was, I'm glad you're kind of like talking about that, because that's internally, that's been like my thought process. Like, how does that slinky get sanitized? I'm sure the gray water is not going to do the full job itself. So how does that get rinsed out, and so you're not smelling a terrible scent as you're traveling, down the road? How does that process work?
The only thing that you can really do if you're gonna try and sanitize it, unless your RV, and the RV that you showed today does have this, it's called a black tank flush, and you just basically hook your hose up to that port on the RV, and it'll actually flush out that black tank for you. If you don't have a black tank flush, the only way to do it is by actually manually going into the trailer and just dumping water and soap down your black tank, and then releasing it afterwards. And that's the only way to do that, unless you have a spout on the side of the trailer that gives you the black tank flush.
You just reminded me about something I wanted to say about 15 minutes ago. Do you still have enough time to talk for a couple minutes?
Yeah.
All right. So can we talk about, I somewhat know the answer to this, but it's for the viewers more than me, because I'm the RV specialist. But,
right.
But what type of paper products are you allowed to use, or is recommended to use, if you're going to do like doo-doo number 2, number 1, or what have you? What products do you recommend?
Get the RV toilet paper. They sell it everywhere. You can get it at Walmart. You can buy it at Costco. You can why? Because it disintegrates a lot easier.
So you're saying biodegradable? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You know the stuff that you use at the rest area that doesn't work worth a. Hang on. Doesn't work worth a. Yeah.
The John Wayne toilet paper.
Right.
The one ply that's like sandpaper. Yeah, you got to be a tough dude.
Yeah. That's the stuff that you're going to use in your RV. Now, the one thing that I was going to say, or that I started to say earlier, is the fact that there's this liquid, and I would have to find the bottle when I go to the trailer next. But it's basically,
is it called blinker fluid?
No, it's not blinker fluid. It's funny that you say that, but it's not blinker fluid. But it's an actual organism that when you pour it into your black tank, it'll actually eat around all the sensors and stuff. Because in every RV there's a like a readout spot where you can see how full your tanks are, and the black tank usually gets like toilet paper or something stuck on the sensors, and the only way to get that fixed is basically by flushing them out. But this liquid actually has something that will go through and eat around all that stuff, and then your sensors should work properly. Yes, Mr. Specialist.
I've also heard through Adam Sandler that you could send Scuba Steve down there and he can take care of the job.
Right. Yes.
You remember Scuba Steve?
Yes. Scuba Steve is an expert, but he does come at a pretty penny. Do you really want to pay the price for Scuba Steve, or do you want to pay $15 for this bottle?
I think I'll buy the bottle. I'm throwing options out to you. I'm not telling you the highest priority.
Right. And one other thing I want to go back to is Full Blown Country brought up the fact that he was liking the half-ton towable fifth wheels. And let me just warn you, my friend, that just because it says half-ton towable doesn't mean that it's actually half-ton towable. You definitely need to make sure that you're going to be within the specs of your tow vehicle. Make sure that that the hitch weight on the fifth wheel is going to interact with your max payload. Now, max payload on your vehicle doesn't only include the trucks; it includes the people in the truck, any sort of equipment that you have in the, anything that you're loading in the bed of the truck or in the back seat of the truck, any pets. You have to take all those things into consideration when it comes to payload capacity. So, just because it says half-ton towable, make sure that you are actually able to pull that RV. Don't just go by the dealership. Go by what the specs are on the vehicle and what you know that you're going to be towing. Yes, Gary, Mr. RV Specialist.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, we've been talking for almost hour and 6 minutes, and I have a couple quick questions in closing, and then I love how you're so knowledgeable on this topic, and I know you're gonna. Is it safe to say you're gonna have a video coming out soon on your tree? I got your fishing trip and your camping trip mixed up all in the same sentence. Your pre-trip inspection. He was out tree hunting today with Lord.
I was. Yes, I was.
So anyway,
but
that's how it got the melange of the words.
I expect to film that tomorrow and actually have that up on Wednesday.
That would be awesome. So I guess part of I want people to carry on this. If there's an interest in following this topic, you can go over to @JJ Drones in the near future. Watch some of his content. Do you know anybody that's doing any lives tonight or any special thing that might be of interest to anybody going on tonight on this Sunday,
I may
July
have
16th?
I may know some guy, some idiot named JJ Drones or Jones or Bones, whatever his name is. He's going to be doing a live stream with some awesome RV specialist and some cheese guy out of Wisconsin. They're going to be getting together today on a live stream. And they're going to be talking about this great organization. I don't think you know about it. It's called Reefs Across America. And they're going to be talking about an auction that's going to be going on next week. So there's going to be an auction going on next week for some coasters that the beautiful Haley Johnson made. And she has a burning desire, and I just love her burning desire. I just think that's tremendous. Thank you. And so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about where we're at in donations, because as far as I know, we're over $300 in donations so far, Gary. So already exceeding the totals from last year, and we're going to go into the numbers and see what that actually means as far as wreaths for the cemetery, and then me and Brian may have a little surprise for you.
Oh Lordy! All right. Well, I have a feeling I know what it's about. I might have to go up the road and go to. I almost went there today. After I was leaving, I was trying to get this content, and I knew the nurse was coming. I almost stopped by. I'm going to tell you. I'm not even going to do the video. I just got to tell you verbally, because I think it's too damn funny. But when I was there originally doing that first Culver's video and everything, that was another Rust video, and I'm filming their big exterior sign outside, and then I look, and they have a drive-through that goes around like the right side of their building, like most drive-throughs, so the window could be on the left driver's side. And as I'm walking away, and I'm like, this could be the perfect video. because all of a sudden it says Culver's and all this stuff, cheese curds or whatever's on their sign, and then all of a sudden I go over, I pan over to the right, and then it says please do not enter. So I wanted to do a video, right, where like, all right, well, Culver's if you want it that way, and then just show me eating McDonald's French fries because you told me not to enter. I was going to enter and buy some cheese curds. You said right there, evidence, please do not enter. So I was going to just show me eating, I was going to go in there and make a purchase, but I'm here. That's why I'm eating McDonald's French fries. That still may happen. That still may happen.
Well, Brian and I have a surprise for you tonight, and just doing our best. It is 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure that you're there so that you get all the information that that I can give you on our Wreaths Across America fundraising drive, and see the prize that we have for Gary, the RV specialist. Yes, Mr. RV specialist.
Just so you know, just so we can clarify this, there's a person of high quality and caliber in this chat tonight, and her name is Shirley. She is the channel called Just Doing Our Best. So from here on out, call her Miss Shirley or Mrs. Shirley.
Miss Shirley.
She's a fabulous person. She's in Hawaii, and she's a great supporter of many channels. And you can learn something. You may want to tell her about your after dark parties that not been happening lately, but excuse me, could be happening again sometime in the near future.
After dark may be happening tonight, so definitely stay tuned to that, because that's a website exclusive only at jjdrones360.com. And Shirley, thank you. Shirley, I just have to give a shout out to Shirley. God love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You've been going out there playing my playlist, and thank you so much. Just an amazing supporter, and I thank you so much for all of your support. I truly, truly do.
All right, so I feel like an idiot because Shirley, you can't be serious, but she says, Gary, I'm from Mississippi, LOL. I'm from Guam. Well, whatever. Island and island, what the hell? Shirley, all right, time for you to go. Let somebody zap her. You cannot make the RV specialist look like an idiot on his own broadcast, all right? Well, I thought, I have to ask her, when Robert Arrington was on your show, was that Guam or was that Hawaii? Please answer the question. Now that I've insulted you.
Oh, she said, don't make my butthole any bigger, guys.
She's a trip. She's a gardening expert, and apparently we probably lost a viewer for life. The CNMI. That CNMI, that's like Central Michigan? What is that, CNMI? Oh, shit.
Now she's...
North Marianas Island. Oh boy, is that the Marianas Trench? I always heard the Marine Corps use the term. I probably can't repeat on this platform, but isn't the Marianas Trench the deepest spot in the world, like the deepest trench or something? Am I close?
That's a good question. I don't know that answer.
I think the Marine Corps used to use that as a belittling term towards their recruits to remind them where the lowest spot in the world is.
The Marianas Trench, yes.
Yes. It's
very good, very good.
All right. Well, I think we need to exit stage right, stage left, or whatever stage we can find to say goodbye to all these beautiful 3 people that are watching. And please send your monthly dues in. That would be 25 cents per hour. So appreciate you guys. And when you get a chance, in all seriousness, if you can, please watch JJ Drones, his content, and especially the content related to Wreaths Across America is a very good cause. It's for our veterans that have paid the ultimate price protecting and saving our freedom. So with that, Jason, do you want to end it with a closing statement, sir?
I would just like to say thank you for coming to the live stream, everybody. And Shirley, I look forward to seeing you on my live stream tonight. And Gary, thank you so much for hosting me today. And I enjoy talking RVs with somebody as knowledgeable of RVs as you. And hopefully sometime we can do it again in the future. And God love you, brother, because you know what? This is just this has been an amazing show. So I think you did a great job.
I did a great job by inviting you. I could just peace out, folks. Remember, always know your legal limits and learn your islands. You know, there's difference between Guam and Hawaii and the Marianas Trench and all that. So, surely you can't be serious. Peace out. Talk to you later. Over and out.